Standard 15 and 16, all about World War, need a marker that works. World War I and U.S. involvement in World War I. Okay, so how did it start? How did it start? Looking at your notes, how did it start? So do we want to do a web or do we want to do like an outline? How do we want to do this?
A web.
Web. You want to do web?
Yeah.
Okay, so what should we put in the middle of our web?
World War I.
World War I. Okay. Did we put U.S. involvement in World War I or just World War I?
U.S. involvement.
U.S. and World War I. Okay, now what? So where do we start? So if we had to put a stem over here, what would it be?
The beginning.
Causes, very good. So we have the causes. The causes of the war, or the causes, can we make it a little bit more specific?
Yeah, unrestricted submarine war.
Okay, what does that mean?
Basically, submarines had no mercy to sink any boat.
Very good, but that answers a cause of why, who entered the war.
Causes of Americans.
Yeah, causes of U.S. entry, okay? And you said U-boats
Thinking of the
and
Mediterranean.
unrestricted submarine warfare. Is this right? Is this what we want to put? Yes? Okay, who did this unrestricted submarine warfare? What country?
Germans.
The Germans. All right, what is another cause? Why did the U.S.
The
enter
sinking
World War
of
I?
Lusitania.
What is the Lusitania?
An ocean liner.
An ocean liner, who was on it?
A bunch of U.S. citizens.
Like
How many?
160.
100 and how many?
60. I think.
120 of what?
20, 120. How many people altogether?
Like
1,000.
1,500.
I think, so maybe 12 to 1,500, you wanna say?
Yeah.
And who were the other people? What country were they from? Do we remember?
Maybe like Europe and.
From Europe, from the European countries. Alright, so why was sinking of the Lusitania such a bad thing?
There were,
Because he killed the Americans, and the
ammunition,
Americans were supposed to be killed.
Alright, so it was people, cause we call it a carrier, what do we call it, ocean liner? What kind of boat was it, like a cruise ship? It wasn't a warship, was it?
No.
Okay. Not war ship.
More like a
Okay.
passenger line.
It was a passenger ship, but what did the Europeans put on there?
Weapon.
Weapons. So then if you were Germans, then you would think that even though the Lusitania had people on it, they still had weapons, so what kind of ship really was it? It was a battleship if you were German. So they had, that's two M's? Ammunition. Okay, so now we got unrestricted submarine warfare. What does the word unrestricted mean? Why was it unrestricted? It was what? It wasn't allowed, because the Germans sank what kind of ocean or ships with U-boats? Anything, right? Okay, so we have are these the only two causes why U.S. entered?
The German telegram.
What is that?
Basically, Germany trying to convince Mexico to attack America.
And then Mexico told America.
So, German recruited, whose help? Mexico. And then Mexico did what?
Told America.
Told United States. Now, why was this a big deal?
Because it's like, remember they said it's like screenshot or something?
It was like getting a text message from somebody trying to holler at you, you snap it and you send it back to the person you're loyal to?
Yeah.
Right. So we said this is a screenshot. But what did it violate though? So why could German talk to Mexico
It was
freely? Monroe what? The Monroe Doctrine, which goes back all the way to which number president?
John Adams, I think?
Monroe Doctrine.
Oh.
James Monroe.
James Monroe. And what did it say? What's the Monroe Doctrine?
He said, don't mess with us for you get disease.
Don't come over here. So no European countries no new European
Countries should touch the US.
territories in the Western Hemisphere, right? Is that what you're gonna say, Garrett?
Yeah.
Hemisphere. Now,
No, that was-
this was, you stay over there, I stay over here. You can't go, no European new territories across the Western Hemisphere. Now, we said in class, if they cross over there, you're gonna get these hands. What are those? What is that vocabulary term?
Big stick diplomacy.
Big stick diplomacy. What's another word for that?
Roosevelt color.
There you go. Diplomacy. And we call it Roosevelt. Roosevelt diplomacy. Alright, we got all of that. Alright, now, we got the causes.
Ammunition.
Alright, what else do we wanna put on our web? The effects. How it affected who?
The US and Germany.
How it affected the US, the regular people?
The Great Migration.
Right, domestically, we said domestically is land. So one effect is the Great Migration. What is that?
Basically,
When all the,
African Americans going from the
north
south
for
to
jobs.
African Americans. And why were there jobs available in the north?
Because they
As
went to
much
the
as
war.
went off to fight in Europe.
What kind of people went off to fight?
White people.
White, just white people, males and females?
Most.
Males.
Males. Why didn't the women go and fight?
They said nurses jobs.
Yeah, and then who else? Not only did African American field jobs in the north and Midwest, women also went to work for the first time. Worked. What else did women do for the first time as a result of being involved in World War I? What were they able to do? Vote. What do we call that? Women's suffrage. And what amendment is that?
Say it.
19th Amendment.
The 19th Amendment,
Taco Thursday.
1920. So let's just make sure we know what the amendments mean. So what's the very first amendment we learned?
I forgot.
The first.
I think it's the
Well, first we learned about the first 10. We call those the
Bill of Rights.
Bill of Rights, and that happened with who? Who wanted the Bill of Rights? What group of people? The Anti-Federalists. So those are the first 10. So then after the first 10, and then we had the Civil War, then we had the 13th Amendment, which said what?
Free.
Free what? Free the
slaves.
slaves. So they freed the slaves, but then the 14th gave them citizenship. Then 15.
Right to vote.
For who?
Black people.
Black males. Could women vote then?
Women.
No. Did they try to get the right to vote then?
Yeah.
Yes, they did. And then we,
Elizabeth Cady Stanton.
There you go. You know her name. And what's her other friend name?
Susan B. Anthony.
Susan B. Anthony, more modern. But who back then? She, we say she got like a little ghetto name,
Keisha.
Lucretia.
Oh.
Lucretia Mott.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Lucretia Mott. So we all the way up to, we said the 15th. African American males got the right to vote. What about the 16th? What is that? Who remembers? Progressive era. Income tax. Thank you, Edgar. Income tax. 17th. Increased democracy. It was some R's and R's and R's.
Oh, recall.
Reform.
Yeah, referendum. And if you go and you propose a law that's called what? UE. If you go and you say, I want to make this change.
Oh, enforce?
No, you start it. So you may help you out? Initiate.
Oh.
Initiate. And if you want to fire somebody in office, what is that called? Recall. Very good. So referendum, initiation, and recall, and direct election of who?
Senators.
Senators. So that's 17. Okay, what is 18?
The
banning
Oh,
of alcohol.
The banning of alcohol, is that in
Prohibition.
effect during this time?
Yes.
Okay.
Prohibition.
So we got
Yeah.
prohibition